Hello everyone, I'm Elise as Another Truth here on YouTube. Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. I hope this message finds you well and that you're prioritizing your self-care. If you're new here, a warm welcome once again. For many returning viewers, I truly appreciate your ongoing support and engagement. Before I begin, I want to issue a content warning. This video discusses mental health, postpartum depression, trauma, and emotional problems. Viewer discretion is advised. Today I want to address some thoughts on Katie Joy, known as Without a Crystal Ball. She has garnered attention for spreading information that often lacks depth and nuance, while labeling herself as a reporter and archival consultant in special circumstances. This video may not resonate with everyone, as I understand, as I'll be discussing mental health, emotional well-being, medication, and therapy. I also want to explore Katie Joy's lack of empathy regarding others' struggle with mental health. Please remember that everything I share here is based on my personal opinion, perspectives, and experiences. I encourage you to do your own research and come to your own conclusions and make good decisions with that information. Also, do not go after Katie Joy for any reason whatsoever. Recently, Katie Joy made comments regarding Joy Forsythe's battle with severe postpartum depression. In her remarks, Katie seemed to attribute Joanna's struggles to her husband's alleged negligence and oversight. How myopic. However, I listened to the podcast where Joanna shared her experiences, and I did not hear her make the same claims as Katie Joy suggested. For reference, Joanna's interview on the Unplanned podcast touches on her postpartum journey starting at around 1 hour and 3 minutes into that podcast. Now, from what I have gathered, Joanna expressed challenges that many new parents can relate to, including feelings of isolation and feeling overwhelmed. In my view, her husband, Austin Forsythe, at least in this podcast specifically, has demonstrated some support for her during these tough times, despite moments that may seem dismissive in other videos. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a fan of Austin Forsythe myself. I can see where Katie Joy might be coming from in that perspective, but there are ways to approach this that are sensible without putting down Joy's own power and resilience and her responsible nature in taking care of herself, which is something that Katie Joy does not do herself by her own choice, by her own whatever. Now, having gone through my own difficult pregnancy, especially around my second pregnancy, I understand the complexities of postpartum challenges, especially when compounded by previous trauma. Now, the dynamics between Joanna and Austin are pretty interesting. Relationships can be extremely complex, as we all know, especially when one partner is struggling with mental health issues. Joanna has openly shared her feelings of despair, which sometimes can be exacerbated in marriage when one partner is trying to provide support while also navigating their own responsibilities. There might have been some pressure on Joanna to get through this, but I will tell you, at least from one of Joy's past videos, when she talked about her postpartum depression, this is when she took her YouTube hiatus to take care of herself and her family. This is a person who has the emotional intelligence and the understanding to know that she was going down a path she didn't like. And I don't know where she got the strength from, but it's a sign of health. And she knew that things weren't right and that she had to go see somebody professionally, which she did. And that should have been enough information. As far as what she takes for medication, we don't know. It's none of our business. And I did not get any kind of thought that Austin did not allow her to take medication. But Joanna did do her utmost to take care of herself. Now, Austin's role in this dynamic is significant. He has been portrayed in various media as seemingly unaware, aloof, and even dismissive of Joy. I have seen this in in the videos, in the family videos, at least on her YouTube channel, and where he did not support her when she needed a haircut. You know, she was pregnant and wanted something easy to do because she was raising other kids. There were other things in there I found disturbing, and I called it out in her videos, but not to berate Austin, but to kind of support Joy in that. But I was disappointed in seeing that, and I can see where Katie Joy might be coming from in this. Now, Austin in this podcast, I'm not a body language expert. I'm not going to pretend. There were some things he said in there that actually made a lot of sense, especially around dealing with the trauma that's underneath, not to mask things. Now, for people who have experienced the trauma, it's a lot easier than said. It's taken me years to get down to the bottom of mine. Years. And that's after medication and intensive therapy. So hopefully he allows Joy the patience of that. Now Joy is exceptionally wise for her age. I know people may disagree with me, but there are things that she does say that is pretty normal for a person going through what she is going through. Like when she talked about in the same podcast, her crisis of faith. Now, when she said she saw these books and these things, it brought up a lot of feelings. She's not saying necessarily her sisters are bad for doing that. It's something that Joy has to work through. Joy will understand more and more. She gets older. She's still relatively young, but she's also, in other cases, she's wise, and then she's going to have to make some decisions about things if she hasn't already, because I understand that's the process. When you start to work through things, you start to look at things. She was already starting to look at things, like in some of her videos, she's like, one of them, she's like, I need to find some type of hobbies. She was regretful she didn't explore those enough when she was younger and things like that. And I don't put that blame on her squarely, but she recognizes that having hobbies and interest outside of the family dynamic, outside of marriage, that's healthy thinking. Having something else to do for personal development, that is something that she wanted to do, that is extremely, extremely important. Okay. And that she had the courage to say that. She did a lot of things in her YouTube videos that were what I would consider encouraging, mature, realistic. And this is a side I haven't seen from other videos that the siblings made, and everybody gets to decide what they want to share or not. I do think that Joy is one of the more down-to-earth people, but that's just what I gather from her videos. So she might be struggling with her husband. She may be struggling with her identity. She's trying to find herself. That's all a part of what she's going through. And that is expected given her situation, her background, going through what she's going through. And of course, she's going to have conflict about having, remembering a happy childhood, remembering certain things, not remembering other things, because that's what trauma does. And going back and forth, that is understandable. It may not be normal, but it's normal to me because, like, oh, she gets it. She understands. So she is talking about things that somebody with some level of good health, good emotional health, will be thinking about. Now, on the other hand, she's having severe postpartum depression. She's going through some other stuff. She's having ideation and thoughts, and she said, I was just going down this path I couldn't deal with. She knew it. She heeded the warning signs. That is emotional health. She recognized it and did something about it. So what is Katie Joy whining about? She doesn't give that woman any credit. Now, from my observation, Joy and Austin kind of reflects a common pattern seen in couples dealing with mental health issues. In my opinion, this is not to denigrate either in this. It's very complex, very difficult. Partners may want to help, but if they lack the tools or understanding of mental health, they can unintentionally say or do things that might be minimizing. Now, one of the things that happened in that conversation, that Joy was talking about her world falling apart. She felt like that. She had a crisis of faith. That is a real thing for people. Okay, I'm atheist. I don't believe in God. You can think whatever you want to think of me, but I understand that. Everything that you think that you believe in is shattered. I don't know that from a religious perspective. That can be extremely painful, especially when you are connected to a higher power and what that means, what you've been taught, what you understand, and what you know in your heart, how you feel. So that is really hard. It's really rough. That's really rough. That's an awakening, but it's really rough. And we can't dismiss that. That's important to Joy, right? And I don't have anything to compare it to. This is Joy's time. So, in the podcast, Joanna spoke about the importance of recognizing her own needs and seeking help, as I've described earlier. This self-awareness is crucial, but it also puts a spotlight on how partners respond to each other's emotional states. For Austin, it's vital to navigate these waters delicately, being both supportive husband and co-parent, all while dealing with the reality of Joanna's mental health struggles and her needs and wants. And I hope that he is observing that. Now, I don't really like him. He just gives me bad vibes, but at the same time, that could just be me. There's some red flags in that. That could be a matter of his upbringing, his whatever, but I don't know what he's working on himself in this. I do know when she said that, there was one point she said that things were falling apart. This was just before the postpartum or around there. And I think he corrected her to say it wasn't about their relationship. Who knows? It could be about the relationship. Being in an unsupportive environment, especially going through that, adds a lot of stress. So I hope that he is supportive of her through this. Now, at least going by that podcast, it seems that they are trying to work through these challenges together. However, as Joy has pointed out in her discussions, finding that connection and understanding can sometimes feel like an uphill battle. Well, she didn't say that, but it's something that I picked up on as she was talking. Now, in my experience, emotional support is crucial during such times. I resonate with Joanna's struggles, as I too have faced overwhelming feelings of isolation, and this could definitely put someone into that feeling. It's vital for both partners to feel heard and validated. Joy's acknowledgement of her mental health challenges demonstrates strength, and I commend her for prioritizing her well-being, and I have done so in her personal videos. Katie Joy often sensationalizes these narratives, portraying joy in others in a one-dimensional theme. Yet Joy has shared her struggles candidly, dimensionally, acknowledging her broken mental health experiences, her struggle with them. I wouldn't say they're broken, but their struggle, without oversimplifying the complexities involved. And like Austin said, there's no point in putting a mask on it, dealing with it for what it is, which I do appreciate. Um, and it's essential to understand that seeking help is a courageous step. Joanna's recognition of her needs and her pursuit of therapy is admirable, and she has my support. She is seeing she's setting a positive example for her children, demonstrating that it's okay to ask for help and take care of oneself when they need it, instead of pretending it doesn't exist. Now, there's appropriateness level there, but she's doing the right thing. She's setting a positive example. As Joanna continues on her mental health journey, I hope she and Austin can foster open communication about their experiences, feelings always. This ongoing dialogue is vital, not vital for maintaining a healthy relationship, especially when one partner is navigating these difficult times. And to be honest with you, it's part of being mature adults and maturing into adulthood and into a mature marriage. I really hope that they can work through this together. Now, it's essential to understand, excuse me, it's essential to understand that seeking help is a courageous step. Um, Again, she is a positive example for her children, demonstrating that it's okay to ask for help and take care of oneself. I repeated that for a reason, because it is important. I believe that as Joanna continues on her mental health journey, she will find hobbies and interests that nurture her identity beyond being a mother and a partner. She's talked about this in her personal videos on YouTube, that she kind of lamented on how she didn't develop herself. I mean, she was a very, very young woman when she first got married. I'm not saying marriage spoils that or complicates that. It can. But she understands the validity of having her own identity and the things that make her happy and that keep her interested. And I think that is important. Um, and maybe she has seen things, maybe she didn't, maybe she wasn't uplifted enough with her own talents and her own unique contributions to things. But I think Joanna's very talented. I think she has a level of emotional intelligence, which is gold. And I think that she is creative with many other things. Now, these choices will empower her as she navigates life and the decisions that come with it, because sometimes hard decisions have to come when you're struggling to find yourself, and you have to be yourself. You have to take care of yourself. Sometimes relationships change, people change, and I'm hoping she's open to that, whatever happens. As for Katie Joy, her focus often appears to be about gaining clout and views than genuinely helping those she discusses. I think that it's important to approach her statements with caution, because more often than not, they lack accuracy and sensitivity. Now, in conclusion, it's important to approach these discussions with empathy and understanding. Relationships really are not merely about individual struggles, but also about how those struggles interact and influence each other. There comes that mature, wise decision making. Sometimes I wish I had done that for myself in my earlier life. The dynamics between Joanne and Austin can provide valuable insights into the complexity of marriage and mental health. And for Joy to share that, to be willing to share that, is powerful. And not only that, her crisis of faith, the family dynamics, putting her vulnerability out there. I think she's one of the strongest ones in that family, in my opinion. But that's not to denigrate the other women. I just think that Joanna has a very unique and different perspective on things. If you're interested, I encourage you to check out the podcast for yourself. While it may not be for everyone, there are important conversations happening about mental health in that one video that deserves attention. And Joy's voice matters. And I think that should be the focus, and not the kind of focus that Katie Joy puts on it. Like Katie Joy always connects the girl's struggles with the father's decisions, the husband's decisions, but she doesn't see the inner strength or the strength of the women that are involved. And I'm not going to say that people are not undermined in these situations and are not controlled in these situations, but Katie Joy, in her fervor to get the latest scoop, to promote these things, she is a shitty advocate, if she's an advocate at all. She doesn't know what's going on, and she doesn't understand these things. And it's just best to do your own research around this. Anyway, thank you for listening. Take care. All of my best. Bye-bye.